Coming up this week on the Braves Beach House podcast,
we got the chance to sit down with former Braves pitcher Greg McMichael.
And we'll recap everything that's been going on here at CoolToday Park this month.
That's right, fantasy camp has been a blast.
All that and more ahead on this episode of the Braves Beach House podcast. And welcome to another edition of the Braves Beach House podcast. I'm Harrison.
And I'm MC Patrick.
We're happy to have you for yet another episode here. And Patrick, it's been busy at the ballpark.
Gotta love fantasy camp. What an exciting time to be around CoolToday Park.
It is. A bunch of alumni come back. They're coaching these teams, and regular people get to be Braves for a week. It's really cool.
That's right. They're competitive. They play games against each other, and there's even a World Series champion crowned.
At the end of it, it all means more for fantasy camp. You're competing for a prize.
That's right, and we got to sit down with former Atlanta Brave and the Director of Alumni right here for our Atlanta Braves, Mr. Greg McMichael.
Why don't we take a look at that interview right now?
Hey Braves country, Happy New Year. We've got a very special guest for you today back in the Braves Beach House podcast studio. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a distinct honor to introduce to you a former Braves closer, member of the 1995 World Championship team, a former co-host of the Behind the Braves podcast, and senior director of the Braves Alumni Association. Braves fans, give it up at home for Greg McMichael. How are you today, Mr. McMichael?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you around the building. Of course, you're doing so much with the senior director position for the Braves Alumni Association. And this week, it's fantasy camp down here at CoolToday Park. How's your team looking? How's the squad out there?
Well, you know, it's this is a highlight for us, at least in January. I mean, we get people coming from all over the world to come here and play, and we just have another great group. And, of course, we got the incredible weather this week.
Yep.
This is our 15th year. It's really amazing that we've been doing it this long. We have 2 full camps, so this week and next, and we couldn't be any happier. We have a lot of people here. I think out of 74, 30 of them, it's their first time being at fantasy camp. So that's a great number for it. It's a really good mix when you have veteran campers and then you've got some rookies in here, and it's an amazing dynamic, and it's fun to see them out there playing. They're hard at it. They're feeling a little sore now. I mean, we're kind of out in the middle of camp, but they'll bounce back. We got some great training staff, and they'll take care of them.
An incredible experience for Braves fans to get to come down to CoolToday Park.
It's the best. It's the best. I mean, there's not a better immersive experience for a Braves fan than come to fantasy camp. You get 5 days of hanging out with some of the greatest Braves, legends of all time, and then get to put on this uniform and play here at CoolToday Park. It can't get any better.
That's
than that.
Exciting, and it's exciting to have you in the building. And we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about past, present, and future. First, we got to congratulate your UT Vols, huh? College World Series baseball champs. Pretty neat.
Pretty good. I mean, and then look at the coach. He's the first college coach ever to make it to be a actual Major League Baseball.
Coach Tony V, he did good getting a call up to the Giants. It's kind of hard to turn that opportunity down.
They're pumping like $60 million into their stadium. I don't think they're going to miss a beat. I think they had all his staff is staying except for his pitching coach, and they're going to do really well. So excited for them.
They've got some good alumni with Dolly Parton, Morgan Wallen, Peyton Manning. It's probably a pretty fun job for that alumni director down there in Knoxville. And we're talking a little bit about some of the guys you played against in college. I mean, how about the likes of Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro? Those Mississippi State teams are tough.
Bobby Thigpen, Jeff Brantley. Yeah, I mean
Albert Bell.
Yeah.
You had some good competition. I mean, that was major league competition.
Ben McDonald,
yeah,
Olympian.
Yeah, that's right. So we got to give your UT Vols a shout out. And let's go back to 1993. How about that? That was your rookie season, and you took over as closer for the Braves. Midway through that season, that must have been nice, But how does the mentality on the mound shift when you have a different role and also you shouldering some of that responsibility as a closer as a rookie? What was some of that like?
Well, I would have to say that probably wouldn't have been possible without some incredible leadership. Obviously, you had Leo Mazzoni, but I think more about the players that were my mentors. So think about Steve Bedrosian, was a Cy Young Award winner himself. Jay Howell, two-time All-Star, World Series champion with the Dodgers, who was a closer, and Sid Bream, Terry Pendleton. So I mean, there's 4 guys there that were my mentors, that were on the team, that really helped coach me. I mean, I'd played multiple roles in the minor leagues. I was a starter, I was a reliever, I got to close in a little bit in the minor leagues, but it really wasn't until I got to the big leagues that I had an extended role as a closer. I started out as a setup guy and ended up as a setup guy, but I would have to say those 4 guys really helped make it a lot easier for me. They gave me a lot of confidence and coached me through some things, and that first year was incredible. It was a blur, but we had an incredible team. I mean, you think about Fred McGriff coming over that year, and you think about just the pitching staff that we had with Ave and Smoltz and Glav and Maddox. So when you think about what we did against the Giants, coming back 10 games at the All-Star break, and then I think I had 15 straight saves at one point. But it all starts with good leadership, and those guys, and of course, Bobby Cox, and it just went through the whole organization, and so allowed young guys like myself to feel like that they could go in and play any role.
There's some great mentors you just mentioned, and neat that so many of them are still so active in the Braves organization.
For sure.
To this day, we still appreciate their mentorship and leadership. Speaking of that mentality on the mound, you pitched in the World Series and back-to-back postseasons, including for the 1995 championship team. What's going through your mind, not while you're just when you're on the mound, but that day, the fact that you have an opportunity to pitch that night in a World Series, possibly as a closer? Are you talking to your family? Does your pregame meal change? What's that whole World Series experience like, especially when you're going to have the rock in your hand that night?
Right. Well, my role at that time, I was setting up Mark Wohlers, and I didn't really have pregame rituals. I felt like that as a reliever, you kind of you're like an everyday player. So it was really hard to have something that you did every single day. Of course, there's little routines, how you warm up, who you play catch with, some things that you do to prepare to go into the game that are pretty consistent. But at that time in the postseason, you're at the end of a long journey, right? So you start out in spring training, and then now you've gone a full season, and now you've gone a full postseason, and you end up in the World Series. So you're pretty much exhausted, and you're living off of adrenaline. But then you add in the media, you add in the excitement of a World Series and what could be. You add in all the people that want to come see you, family members, tickets, all that, right. So there's a lot going on, and I think you get a little bit numb to it at that point. But what a great memory we have. And then being able to relive it with our 21 World Series team. I've been working in the front office now for 15 years, and to be able to go through that with a lot of people who don't know what it's like to put on a uniform, but they're just fans. And so, I'm like that too. So it just brought back a lot of great memories from 95 and 96.
Want to have some more of those good memories
That's right,
here
we
coming
do.
up soon again.
We do, for sure.
And neat that you got to share that with the new generation, a new crop of players and coaches and things like that. And thanks for sharing that little insight. I know a lot of folks wonder what the day of and the night of a World Series is like. And certainly is different, but still the same, right?
That's right.
We want to know a little bit more about that work you've been doing with the Braves Alumni Association, and it's always great to have you around CoolToday Park as well. And also, you're working with the Braves Country Baseball and Softball, and looking out for the youths and all of Braves Country. We love that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your work there?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we've been, my first role with the Braves is really about the alumni program, which we started in 2010. In fantasy camp is an extension. It's really kind of a core event that we do, but it also in Atlanta we get a chance to do alumni weekend. If anybody's ever come to that, it's an amazing event where we bring back over 60 alumni. We have a parade, and we do autographs and softball home run derby, a lot of really cool things. We have Alumni Sunday that is every home Sunday game. We bring back a couple of alumni to do some stuff there in the Battery. But outside of that, the alumni, we'll do about 200 events a year. So we're doing speaking engagements and meet and greets and working with corporate partners and ticket sales. And we're working, like you said, our Growing the Game initiative, which now I run as well. And alumni are involved in that, doing clinics and going to tournaments that we put on throughout the Southeast. But so I feel like that the alumni program is kind of been locked and loaded for years, and we're really healthy because we've got over 250 alumni that we work with nationally, but 65 in Atlanta. So that keeps us really engaged with our alumni base. And that's one thing I see as a big separator for us between other organizations, that we just have such great alumni who want to be involved. And we've worked hard over the years to be able to do that. And I think the more things that we can offer them and more ways to engage them really keeps it healthy and kind of growing.
Sure.
On the Growing the Game side, we do have our own league now, which we started 2 years ago, called Braves Country Baseball and Softball.
Love that.
And that's ages 5 to 12, and it's in Parks and Rec only.
Very cool.
And so one of the things we want to do is we recognize that in the travel ball industry, it's really taken a lot of kids out of the Parks and Rec. All the guys that I played with growing up, we all started at the rec level, and we played till we were about 12 or 13, and then we moved on to travel ball. Well, that's changed. Now they're moving out at 6, 7, 8 years old, and I hate that from the standpoint is that it's tough enough for a family to feel like a family when now you're going every weekend, you're traveling, you're eating out all the time, you're going to lessons, you're going to practices, you're going to these tournaments. Every tournament is the World Series, and we really just wanted to dig into the rec program and see how we can help bring families back, because not everybody needs to go to travel ball.
Sure.
There is a time, I agree, that you need to do that. So we really wanted to help these parks that are doing such an amazing job from a volunteer standpoint. We wanted to see how we could help them. So this year, we started from 0 and we went to 85 parks, and then this past year we had 115. Our goal this year is 230.
Wow.
And we think there's 2,500 in the Southeast, which is our footprint. But we think that we'll be up over 200 this year. And when you think about what we're doing is we're really trying to get kids to develop, to learn, and we see all the injuries, we see about overplaying, and we're developing with instruction. We do videos, free videos for the parks. We allow them to brand with us, co-brand, so they get to put up our banners and the Braves logo. And then we put on tournaments. So this year we've got the Chris Sale State Championship.
Oh, wow.
So Chris is partnering with us. We got the Austin Riley Classic, which is a warm-up tournament. So Austin's doing that. And then we also got the Ozzie Albies Open. So Ozzie's partnering with us. So we're real excited about every kid that plays in our tournaments gets a shirt from them that'll have Ozzie and Chris and Austin's image on it. So they play in our tournaments, and of course it's all Braves. We have blooper blow-ups, and so that's fun things that we do. One of the big separators for us is we do clinics all throughout the Southeast. So we did 50 last year.
Wow.
And we go from Mississippi all the way to South Carolina. And so those are Braves branded, and we bring out an alumni out for every one of those clinics. It's just a really good time. So we're really proud about what we're doing. But we don't stop at the rec level. We're also doing a lot at the high school level. We have showcases. We've worked with women's professional softball and to kind of match that up with our softball program. So there's a lot of areas that we're involved in the game. Our RBI program has 900 kids in the Atlanta area, in the inner city, that are playing, and those are all high school level. We had 3 go to the World Series last year, 3 teams. So there's a lot of work that I'm proud of. So I'm spending a lot of my time on the Growing the Game part, because it's not where our alumni program. I've spent 15 years working on the alumni program, but we're hoping that in the next 10 years that our Growing the Game will be as healthy as our alumni program. But it's really exciting what we're doing, and got a lot of support from the executive staff.
That's amazing, and it sounds like you're on the right track with it. You know, having fun is a part of the fundamentals.
That's right.
Having that camaraderie is a part of those fundamentals that the rec kids need. And so Growing the Game, that's so neat that the alumni and current and former Braves are up for the task just as much as you are. So
very proud of them.
You should be. You keep up that good work. We love to hear that. And about the complex here, what makes CoolToday Park different from other spring training training facilities, other than the fact that you don't have to share this one with the Expos like you guys
That's
did.
right.
Maybe back
Or
in the
anybody
day.
else, right?
Or
Disney.
Or Disney. We've got our own home down here in Southwest
Oh, my
Florida.
gosh,
We love
yes.
having you here. And what do you think about the facility in your day-to-day?
Well, it makes all the difference in the world when you have your own, people here like Mike and who are running this complex 365 days a year. We built it from scratch. So you think about Mike's experience over the years in Macon and Rome and all the things that he's learned. You think about Chip and Mike Plant and those guys and how we were able to take all the things that we know about the game of baseball. We've done a lot of spring trainings, right? I don't know how many we've done. We've done a ton. And so we've learned a lot over the years. So to be able to put all that knowledge into one complex and then to be able to control that and to be able to use it for developing our young players, for using it for marketing purposes, using it for corporate partners. There's so many advantages that we have. So everything that we see here and everything that we love is from years and years of experience of being involved in the game of baseball. And I think about Truist Park too. I mean, we took the same approach. I mean, took all that experience and put it into the ballpark that we think would be, second to none. And of course, we have created that. I mean, nobody else has the battery that we have. Nobody has the experience that you get from a Braves game. I don't care where you go. I've been to a lot of stadiums. I've played a lot of baseball. And I just keep hearing it over and over and again. And of course, I'm a little, you get a little dull to it after a while because I work there. So, it loses its luster just because I see it every day, but it is flat out amazing. And we've brought that same thing to Northport, and we love what's going on down here. And of course, for me, running my fantasy camps, you love it being able to come down here and not have to worry about all the stuff that went on in years past with West Palm Beach and with Disney and all that. I mean, you got the place that you know exactly what you need to get done.
Well, that must have been nice with the All-Star game to really be on the national stage and, like you said, show them the entertainment quality, show them the professionalism, the fun that we have in Braves country.
That's right.
So congratulations.
Well,
on
yeah, and
successful
Atlanta.
All-Star.
I mean, Atlanta is what Atlanta is. I mean, it's a great town. It's been developing over the years, even since I moved there in '93. And then just to put that exclamation point with what we're doing at Truist Park and the Battery it's been incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you played for the Durham Bulls.
Yeah, so Bull Durham came out about a year or so before I played in Durham.
Wow.
Now I played, against Durham. I ended up starting with the Cleveland Indians. That's who I was drafted by. So it was kind of fun seeing the whole town. I mean, obviously there's the buses. That's exact depiction of the buses. Yeah. So stopping at the the truck stops or the gas stations, and I mean, I remember if you got a Wendy's single, I mean, you were living large. I mean, we got $10 a day to eat 3 meals on, and so it was PB&J, and I remember one of the fond memories I have. A couple things is that on the buses, these big guys would try to get up in the luggage racks just to lay down flat. Of course, if you're laying down on the floor, you might get a spit cut roll across your head, from the chewing tobacco. But I remember after the game, it wasn't like going to. I mean, you weren't going to Longhorn. You were going to they would park the bus in between Wendy's and McDonald's or Taco Bell, and then I just remember this guy next to me. He was a little bit of a bonus baby, which it means he got drafted a little bit higher. He always got a double. And I'm thinking, man, that must. And he got 2 doubles, and then he got, he'd get whatever he wanted to. And I just remember, man, I wish I had money
Everybody
for
else
that.
on the value menu.
That's right. Yeah, they didn't have value menu right there, but yeah, we have some great memories of playing in the minor leagues, and I think that's one thing I see in the game today where guys don't spend that same kind of time. I mean, I spent 4.5 years in the minor leagues, but that's where I learned to pitch.
A lot of development.
That's where I learned to fail. That's where I learned to succeed. That's where I learned to hone my craft. When I got to the big leagues, I didn't have to be taught to pitch.
Right.
I think that's a little different nowadays. A lot of guys are coming up to the big leagues after a year in the minor leagues, and they're having to learn to pitch. And that's very different. And I think that's a very difficult stage to learn about who you are. So I'm very thankful that I spent the time learning about who I am. So when I got to the big leagues, it wasn't a big transition for me.
You felt prepared.
I felt prepared. I mean, I had logged the time.
Yeah.
I'd gone through injury. I'd gone through failure. I've gone through success. And that really helped me. And I think that's why I kind of took off and I never went back to the minor leagues.
Right.
I spent 8 years and until injury. Just, that was the end of my career, which was good. That was another blessing. I saw a lot of guys who didn't get injured. They performance-wise didn't make it, and so they bounced a little bit. And then they would be out of the game for a year, and then they would be, maybe I can still pitch, because they didn't lose anything. They just didn't do well.
Right.
So I think that was harder. So I was able to transition from the game of baseball to another career because I knew that was it. So I'm very thankful for that too as well. So when it was over, it was over. And then I was able to go to plan B.
I've heard you talk before about having 9 different surgeries. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm at 10 now because I just had a knee replacement. But the body is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was told when I was 13 I'd never play baseball or football or basketball because I had a rare cartilage disease called osteochondritis dissecans, and that's a long word for your articular cartilage dies, and I was bone on bone, and had 3 surgeries before I got out of high school. But it's not as rare now because it's when you grow real fast and there's some things that go on. It's not Osgood Slaughters, but it's a little bit different. But that kind of, of course you can imagine as a young kid, that kind of rocks your world,
Sure.
thinking that all I know is sports, and then all of a sudden now I know nothing. So I started hanging out with the wrong people and just didn't know who I was. And so I had to work through all that. And end up getting to play a little bit of baseball in high school and end up getting signed by Tennessee and then drafted out of there. But I went through a lot of adversity very young, so I think that also prepared me. But there's not one athlete that I've ever met that hasn't dealt with adversity.
Sure.
It's just when are you going to deal with it? So when I've talked to a lot of parents and they're telling me about their 8, 9, 10-year-old, 11-year-old that's struggling about practicing, or the 13-year-old that really doesn't want to do much, I said, listen, if they don't want to do it, then don't have delusions that they're going to go on and play high school, college, and play professionally, because as soon as they get hurt one time, they're packing it in. Because you have to have something deep down inside you that says, if I don't succeed, if I don't play, if I don't pitch, then my life's not going to be fulfilled. So if you look at all these professional athletes that have been successful, there's some warped sense inside of them that says, if I don't beat you, then something's wrong, and I'm not going to stop till I beat you, because that's the kind of drive you have to have if you're going to make it. I heard a guy talking the other day that said, if you put 30,000 kids out on a baseball field, one person's going to make it to the big leagues.
Wow.
That's a lot of kids.
Wow.
And how many parents, and I think the parents do their kids a disservice because they don't tell them, hey, there's so much to learn about the game of baseball. Don't worry about the big leagues. Don't worry about the NBA. Don't worry about the NFL. You worry about what can you learn today to get better, because you want to translate that into another career. Right. You want to translate that into being a student. You want to translate that to be a brother, to be a boyfriend, to be a father one day. But you need to learn what baseball can teach you and get better every day, and all that other stuff will take care of itself. If you're blessed to go on and play high school, and then Division I baseball, and then the minor leagues and the big leagues, that's going to happen if you take care of the things. But if that's the goal, you'll never make it, because it's too much adversity, too many things that can happen along the way. I mean, it's not about talent. That's probably the least thing for me. It's more about perseverance. It's more about work ethic. It's more about character. Yes, it's all those things. Your drive. There's so many things that have to happen. You have to be fortunate to have an opportunity, which nowadays more kids have an opportunity. So I just think we got to focus on the right things. And I really want these parents not to be thinking about the wrong things, because that would probably calm a lot of people down when they watch games. They won't be yelling at the umpires. No kidding, They won't be screaming at their kids. They won't be, they won't be giving the cold shoulder when they didn't go 4 for 4 with two doubles. I think we just got to take a chill pill a little bit on that stuff and focus on what can this game teach us about life.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, one of our main messages and themes on the Braves Beach House podcast is talking to the youth, talking about growing the game. And we always ask, what could a young one do to be in the position that you were in one day? And what you just talked about, the overcoming adversity and having the warrior-like heart to play the sport. That means a lot. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And just a couple more questions here for you, because the Braves have made a lot of moves this offseason. Any of them stand out to you, from coaching to players?
Well, I've known Walt a long time. He was a teammate, and he's going to be incredible. I don't think people need to think about that he's just an extension of Snit, because Walt's his own man, and Walt's going to bring something different to the table. So I'm excited about him getting this opportunity. Obviously, being an alumni, I'm always for our alumni doing all the jobs, around. That should be a rule that we only hire alumni, but that's just my opinion. I'm teasing, but we're excited about what's going to go on with the team. Clearly, we have had a health issue problem, right? So I'm hoping those guys get back to being healthy. I got my own opinions on why all that that occurs, and I don't think it's at the big league level. That all starts way earlier, and I hope these guys get back. I mean, Schwellenbach is just amazing, and you think about Spencer Strider and the pitching. Ronaldo, Lopez, all these guys we have, they are all top-notch pitchers. But they got to be on the field. So I'm hoping they all get back to where we know they can be, and then our lineup is going to be our lineup, and those guys they're going to terrorize. But they've got to get healthy, right? They've got to stay healthy. They got to play the game. I told people in the front office they were all I can't believe everybody's we're this bad and we didn't. I said, listen, I've been a part of this organization for 30 plus years. I've seen 4 seasons where it was bad. That's a pretty good track record. I go 3 years ago when we had 6 guys have career years. That's never going to happen again. This year we had 6 or 8 guys who had their worst years. Right, that's never going to happen.
We also had a rookie of the year in that. That's
right.
Though.
That's right. And multiple rookies in the year.
Cy Young last year, and
right. You think about Ronald, and you think about Michael Harris, and you think about Drake. So that's an incredible It speaks a lot about our minor league system.
It does.
But I think we got to understand we've gone through some crazy roller coasters over the last 3 years, between being all world to being nobody being healthy and having bad years. So we're going to start to level out, and I think we'll get back to where we're supposed to be. And so I'm excited to see what happens this year.
Absolutely, looking forward to the 2026
season
of
that's
spring
right.
training.
It's a great thing about baseball, right? We got a new season.
Yeah, we're not, we don't like to say there's always next year in Braves country.
We're not used to saying that.
We say that for some other National League ball clubs who've made fame out of that.
We'll leave that for Pittsburgh.
And my favorite question that I get to ask our guests that come on the show, I'm real fond of concessions when I go to a game at a ballpark. Can you share any of your favorite concessions, either at the Battery or along the journey? We talked a little bit about parking the bus in between Taco Bell and McDonald's, but
that's right.
Some folks have mentioned the Dodger dog. There's some other,
but Cleveland's got a good one.
What's your go-to?
Yeah, in Atlanta?
Or just in general.
Oh, in general, yeah. Well, it's hard to pass up a Dodger dog. It was hard to pass up the brown mustard in Cleveland. That was actually one of the first games I ever went to. I was very fortunate to do that. But, in Philly, obviously we had the cheesesteaks in Philly that they were known for, and I'm trying to think. We tried not to eat too much of that stuff, but it was hard not to. Cincinnati was the ribs that we got. But nowadays, these teams have their own chefs.
Right.
So back in the day, the visiting clubhouse guy, he would just try to get things from the local community or whatever. Now we're in charge of that, so we know what the team needs to eat, and then our guys do everything on the road. So it's changed a lot. And of course, we had no chefs. We had guys sometimes we had hamburger helper. Even in the big leagues.
Lucky to have it.
Yeah, that's right. Some places we were like, man, what's going on? And when they did it right, it was pretty impressive. But things have leveled out, and I think the Players Association stepped in and said we gotta make it a little bit better.
A little more regulated of a diet.
That's right. But Delaware North we have up in Atlanta. They've done a great job, and we do events all the time, VIP events, and they help us and do our catering, and we've had no complaints, and we're excited to work with them.
That's great. Braves country, it was a true honor to sit down here today with Greg McMichael. We have a tradition that we like to do every time. We have a T-shirt cannon in the room today, and we're going to honor you with an official Braves Beach House podcast T-shirt. Get it fired up, and look at it, folks.
There we go.
He can still catch. That's a member of the 1995 World Championship team, senior director of the Braves Alumni Association, and somebody that is making sure the Braves and the youth in Braves country are going to have a bright future. Thank you so much for being here today on the Braves Beach House podcast, Greg McMichael.
It was great to hear from yet another World Series champion here on the Braves Beach House podcast.
A lot of insight there. We appreciate his time. Well, Braves Country, we've got another new segment for you here. Harrison, we want to know what's in the warehouse.
We need like a fun noise for that, but I got something really cool that I found in the warehouse today. And it goes along with our new food items here at the ballpark. Everyone loves soft serve here.
Absolutely.
Sweet Spot has one of the longest lines in the ballpark. And right here, I present to you the new ice cream sundae bowl. It's a baseball.
Wow.
It is rock solid. I mean, that's a nice, high-quality bowl.
That'll keep ice cream cold, and I can just imagine how high that ice cream could go up in that little bowl.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who knows? It could go to the roof. We'll have to see. When Henry joins us to preview the food, we'll get to hear what is going in these bowls. There's some fun new additions that you can get at Sweet Spot, so we'll have to wait to see. What did you find, Patrick?
I love the swirl at Sweet Spot, the vanilla, the chocolate. I cannot wait to try it. I found our brand new cold beverage, cold beer cup that we'll be having this year right at the Tiki Bar and all of our vending spots that serve cold beverages. That's right. We'd like to thank DR Aluminum for giving us another chance to sip safe, cold, and responsibly. Go Braves.
My favorite part about these cups, Patrick, they keep your beer nice and cold. They're aluminum, lightweight, and reusable. I got a whole sleeve of them at my house.
And that's what's in the warehouse.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Braves Beach House podcast. We do have a couple things to plug, though. Coming up at the end of the month, well, maybe not us, but friends of ours here from CoolToday Park will be at Braves Fest at the Battery in Atlanta. I believe that's January 31st. Make sure you stop by our tent. And we're going to be giving out some nice, cool sunglasses as well as some other fun surprises. So be sure to find us in the Battery at Braves Fest.
That's going to be quite the time there in the Battery. Go Braves on that.
All right. The Tiki Bar is open all week long. That's, again, Tuesday through Sunday, noon to 9 every day of those 6 days of the week. We got trivia on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock, music bingo on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock, and live music all weekend long.
And we can't wait to see you. Welcome weekend. That's right, Valentine's Day, February 14th. It's going to be a lot of fun at CoolToday Park all the way leading up to that first game on Sunday, February 22nd against the Minnesota Twins.
Well, we hope to see you at the ballpark this spring, Braves, and I think there's only one way to break it down.
That's right. They'll be saying it with us soon.
Go Braves!